Okay, so today's topic is who is actually steering China's response in this tariff war? Is Xi Jinping truly the one in command? Well, the answer is yes. I'm going to give you the quick answer. It is yes. But the answer reveals a sinister plan his enemies may have set up for him. To get to the bottom of this, we must explore three key questions. The first is who are the anti Xi Jinping forces today? And the second question is what are their views on the tariff war? Or what do they want from the tariff war? And the last but not least, is Xi Jinping leading China's fight against Trump? Let me give a little bit of history. So when Xi Jinping first came to power, his biggest political enemy was the Jiang Zemin faction. Key members of this faction include two red princelings, Zheng Qinghong and Bo Xilai. Since Jiang Zemin's death, Zheng Qinghong has been the de facto leader of the old Jiang faction. Bo Xilai was Jiang Zemin's chosen successor to Hu Jintao. However, he lost the competition when his police chief defected to the U.S. consulate in February 2012 and exposed Bo's plan to depose Xi Jinping. Before Bo Xilai was imprisoned, he was known for his ultra-leftist programs in Chongqing, where he was the party secretary. So as Xi Jinping shifted China further to the left, his political enemies expanded. Many princelings who once supported him turned against him. The leader of this opposition faction is Deng Xiaoping's son, Deng Pufang. After the 20th Party Congress, when Hu Jintao was escorted off stage, and following the death of former Premier Li Keqiang, Hu Jintao's faction, historically the weakest, also joined the anti-Xi camp. Leading figures in this faction include Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao. This faction consists primarily technocrats. The technocrats are generally more open-minded and reform-oriented. However, their influence is limited because they were not born into CCP-led families. They rose through the ranks not because of their birthright, but often due to talent or circumstance. In contrast, the princelings are far more powerful, even though they don't hold official positions. Their core interest is preserving family legacy and privileges. They can be hardcore leftists or pro reform, depending on what benefits their family's political needs. Their number one priority is safeguarding the wealth accumulated during the reform era. If tighter state control better protects their assets, they support Maoist ideology. If fostering relations with the West offers more security, they lean towards Deng Xiaoping's reforms. Their political stance depends on the industries and the assets they hold or they control. These princelings are not interested in genuine political reform or regime change for the most part. They want to protect their dynastic interests. Of course, a few princelings, like Hu Yaobang's son, do wish for a meaningful change and a better future for all Chinese, but they're in the minority. Last month, we discussed how three-party elders may be running the country behind the scenes. Two technocrats, Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao, and one princeling, Hu Deping, who's the, I think, eldest son of Hu Yaobang. However, they're not Xi Jinping's most formidable enemies. These three play a balancing role and must still cooperate with Xi to maintain the illusion of his authority and thus to prevent the regime from collapsing. According to Professor Yuan Hongbin, the most formidable anti-Xi forces within the CCP right now are two factions that were once ideologically opposed but have now joined forces. The first one is the pro-reform faction led by Deng Pufang, Deng Xiaoping's son. They advocate a return to Deng Xiaoping's reform path. They believe Xi Jinping has betrayed Deng's vision and driven China into a dead-end confrontation with the U.S., precipitating an economic crisis. The other is the Cultural Revolution faction, also known as the Maoists. They see the locked up Bo Xilai as their spiritual leader. The Maoists view Deng's policies as betrayal of communist ideals. Though historically not getting along, the two factions now have aligned in opposition to Xi Jinping. The pro-Deng faction sees Xi Jinping as betraying Deng Xiaoping's legacy. The Maoists believe Xi's appointees are surrendering to American imperialism, causing China's current hardships. So, having explained who Xi Jinping's enemies are, let me return to tonight's main topic, that is, what are their views on the tariff war? First, consider an online post that reviews what zero tariffs in China would look like. So, it's a translation from the Chinese post, and it basically says if China adopts zero tariffs on all imports, and imported Audi, currently priced at 1.4 million yuan, would sell for 350,000. Imported baby formula that's selling for almost 400 yuan per can will sell for only 90 yuan. Imported flour at 5 yuan per kilo will be selling for 1.4 yuan per kilo. Gasoline at 6 yuan per liter will be selling for a third of that. Imported medical heart stents, currently priced at 30,000 yuan. The price will drop by more than 10 times. It's a fraction of that. It's only 1/15th of that. The price will only be a little over 2,000 yuan. And cancer drugs, foreign, imported cancer drugs, its price will went down from 21,000 yuan to 195 yuan. So you see, this reviews the secrets of China's tariffs. China keeps tariffs low only for products it desperately needs, such as food, energy, and high precision electronic parts. Those three categories have low tariffs. Everything else, the import tariff is much higher. And that's not the end of it. China also uses a strict quota and licensing system on imports. So most valuable imported products can only be brought in through state owned enterprises and powerful insiders. These insiders get exclusive rights to import and then resell the goods at much higher prices. If China adopts zero tariffs, who would benefit? Well, Chinese consumers. But who would lose? The aristocracy, the princelings and their families who monopolize industries. It's said that about 500 CCP families control all of China's industries. Lower tariffs will make their businesses less profitable. If China opens up to foreign competition, these oligarchs' companies will not survive. As a result, they strongly oppose lowering tariffs and opening Chinese market to foreign business. From this perspective, they support Xi Jinping's hardline stance against Trump's tariff war. So Xi Jinping isn't fighting Trump alone. Behind him stands an army of elite CCP families who don't want to pass the benefits of China's economic success or wealth from past decades to the Chinese consumers. So you might ask, what about the three-party elders really pulling the strings? Don't they want to replace Xi Jinping and stay out of this tariff war? What's their view on the tariff war? Well, they likely recognize China's problems didn't start yesterday. They've been building for the past decade. They're fully aware of the serious economic issues that have been hidden. Are they ready to oust Xi Jinping? Probably not. They think the time isn't right. They believe Xi Jinping should take responsibility for the tariff war and the economic decline and the hostile international relations and handle it himself. So they think that if he resolves it, great. If not, he'll be held accountable. If the trade war spirals out of control, they will intervene, blame Xi Jinping, and start fresh with the US. Actually, they're not the only ones holding this view. That's the mindset of many top CCP officials. Publicly, they seem very supportive of Xi Jinping's policy. Privately, they want Xi to fail so he can be blamed. So in Chinese, this is called 借力打力, which means using an external force to strike your opponent. So in this case, they are using Trump's tariff war to strike at Xi Jinping. It's the same mentality seen among PLA leaders who encouraged Xi Jinping in a Taiwan invasion, hoping to overthrow him if it fails. Does Xi Jinping know? Absolutely. But he's already trapped. Xi Jinping became viral today on Chinese social media. In Malaysia, because of this video, I'm going to play you this video. It's only 30 seconds.
最高元首陛下再次的会面。
I'm honored to meet you, Your Highness. I'm honored to meet you.
和马来西亚是好朋友、好邻居、好伙伴。
China and Malaysia are good friends, good neighbors, and good partners.
我们常来常往，亲如一道开启。
We visit each other frequently and as close as family.
中马关系新的黄金50年。
I hope this will usher in the new 50-year of golden era in Sino-Malaysian relations.
半个世纪，正迎来更加美好的广阔前景。
He read from a notebook while exchanging pleasantries with the king of Malaysia in front of media. I mean, the king looked confused even. He wasn't discussing complex issues, just saying China and Malaysia are good neighbors, good friends, and good partners, and we're going to be working together. And he's speaking in native language. Yet he read from notes. What does that tell us? Either cognitive decline or extreme caution, fearful of making mistakes. So when did China's fearless leader suddenly become so cautious? Okay, I believe Xi Jinping is fully aware of his perilous predicament. He doesn't want to fall into the trap, prepared by his political enemies, and has begun softening his position in the tariff war. Just yesterday, the Chinese government dismissed its trade representative, Wang Shouwen, and announced that Li Chenggang, China's representative to the World Trade Organization, will take over the role. Li will also serve concurrently as Vice Minister of Commerce. This man, Wang, is known for his aggressive negotiating style. He was once described as a bulldog who clashed fiercely with U.S. officials in trade negotiations. His current whereabouts remain unknown following his dismissal. This move appears to be a gesture by Xi Jinping to tone things down.